puts on this league. That was a hell of a season. Thomas didn't have his most dominating season there, but he was consistent. He did what he had to do at the end of the day to take home his third championship. So congrats to him, and I definitely look forward to next.
All right, well, thank you for coming up and joining me in the booth, man. It's been a fairly awesome race to call with you. Muchly appreciated. And thank you to Jaron for putting on the league, all the drivers for participating in the league. Without the drivers, as long as nothing happens on this final lap, is definitely going to be the 72 of Joshua Durham. Alright guys, with all that information, we're going to go to a quick break, and when we come back, we are going to have some driver interviews. But at the moment, it is Brian Bateman in the lead of this race in the 83 car, and it's not a bad looking car. Like, this is actually one of the cars that Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Auto Club Speedway for round number 2 of Output Racing League action. This is the Roy's Towing 150, and it should be shaping up to be a pretty good race. Everyone is practicing a pit entry right now before they go through and do a pit party. Everyone trying to jockey into their pit boxes. Got a couple of people still on track. John Lozelle, Ray Zerkut, and Matt Burgess. Oh, and Burgess just went for a big flip. Holy crap. That looked like it hurt. We're just waiting for everyone to get sorted here for the pit party. As John Lozelle's still on track. He's currently ranked 7th in practice. As the rest of the field are in the pits, awaiting to get started on the pit party. And Lozelle pulls into the pits this time. Alrighty, here we go. People starting to get themselves formed up in the pit lane. And we'll get them to go for half a lap. Well, I guess a full lap of pacing. Then we'll send them off on their way for a bit of a pit party here. Give us an idea on who's got some speed in the pack. Who's got luck and who is unlucky. We currently have 17 drivers here to participate in the racing action. Strength of field is a 26.57, which includes myself. And 16 of the 17 racers have registered lap times. James Watson, the only one to not have had a lap time registered yet. There's Thomas Harmon on screen, currently P6 in the standings. 41.431. Jonathan Hernandez sitting on top with a 41.277. As everyone's getting formed up, it looks like it's going to be Masia and Hernandez on the front row. And then that's actually Burgess and Horton on row 2. Burgess's paint hasn't loaded up just yet for some unknown reason. They're often racing. Actually, no, that's Ray Zerkut in the 16. My apologies. These are 4 wide in the very back of the pack. Going to end ugly, but at least they've made it around 1 and 2 without crashing. Oh, and Zerkut's gone around. Everyone managing to avoid him. Yeah, iRacing default livery there. Crashing continues on the front straight. There's John Lozelle. I saw the 12 of Matt Burgess on the infield. Racing continues. Oh, big block being thrown there at the front of the pack. That was Hernandez throwing the block on Masia. It didn't work out for him, no. Masia still got up to the inside. Oh, now they're going 3 wide as Thomas Harmon's on the apron. See a lot of exciting racing here. As Hernandez continuing to try and make that very outside line work. And honestly, it's not doing too bad for him. Great momentum up there. Especially if you've got 2 people behind you like that. All the way down to the bottom he goes. Now they're 3 wide for Paul. Well, a little bit of pinball there for Masia. That's in between of TJ Crampton and Thomas Harmon. I think the draft is going to play a pretty big part in today's racing. If you're not in the draft, you're probably going to lose out on positions. There's Travis Masia. Attempts a slidey pit entry. It didn't work out for him. And, oh, what a hit from Brian Puzakami. Absolutely launched himself. But he landed on all 4 wheels, and that's what counts. Oh, Kyle Kraus just got hip and shouldered into the fence. That was off the right rear of TJ Crampton. Oh, and there goes Hernandez. He just got absolutely shoved into the fence by Crampton. There's Jonas Marquez. Currently sitting in 13th. As we're also awaiting the entry of Corey Williamson to hit the track. The top 10 as it stands is Hernandez, Pizzacami, Burgess, Horton, Crampton, Harmon, Lizelle, Masia, Kraus, and Isaacson. Marquez unable to lower his time that time. There's Matt Horton in 33. His 41.368 puts him in 4th. There's Frank Isaacson in 24, currently sitting in 10th with a 41.577. Frank's not looking too bad so far this season. And he's usually one of the more consistent people. Like, he'll sneak in to a a top position in the points just by being consistent and not crashing. Oh, and that's a nasty angled wall for Mark Pentecoff to run into. Ryan Pizzicami, another one of those who, he's probably on for a decent run in this race. Doesn't usually qualify, which puts him towards the back of the pack, so he can say safer in the earlier running. But he always finds himself there or thereabouts towards the end of it. There's Corey Williamson on track. Finding it hard to deal with the grip requirements in this track. We even have static camera angles so we can do crank it ups. I don't know, it sounds like we might need to turn a couple of these up. Pretty sure it was Mark Pentecoff who just came off the fence here in turn 2. Got Pizzicami about to receive a pump draft from the 60 of Kyle Kraus. Kyle's going to look for the outside move on him. And he's going to swap over. Not quite. Oh. Got Brian loose, taking the air off that spoiler. James Wilson looks like he's struggling a little bit with the way the car's feeling. Horton and Lozelle working here together a little bit. We have about, 13 and a half minutes left of practice. These guys just ticking laps down, just trying to get used to the grip levels. We'll probably see a few more people actually pitting here soon, just practicing their pit entry. See what it's like on the older tyres. Had a little bit warmer, a little bit, less grippy. No, I was just enjoying watching these guys drive around here because, Auto Club, it's a track that's not going to be around much longer. I think they're doing the race here this year, and then they're tearing most of it up and turning it into a short track. They go around Razor Cut, the league rookie, in his debut race. Currently have 19 drivers registered to race now, including myself. Strength of field is now 26-12. The top 10 hasn't changed around at all. This Kyle Kraus is currently P5. In fact, I tell a lie, Corey Williamson just moved himself up into P10 for 41.565. There's Chris Champeau, yet to have made a lap time yet. In fact, we've got another one joining in as well, Logan Lansford, still waiting to come in. Champeau currently a 19th quick, but that'll change, especially if he's got some drafting help. Champeau still a little bit off the pace, actually. Possibly just struggling with a little bit of the tyre grip early in the run. was Harmon on screen, now down to P7. I think he got displaced by someone. I think it was TJ Crampton, actually. It looks like we've got the majority of people on pit road right now, so it'd be a great time for them to organise another pit party. But what would I know? I'm just a commentator. Now there's about 10 laps left in practice as the time is ticking down. Christian Poe still currently 18th. He's only snuck ahead of Sam Niederhelm. We've got Logan Lansford, who's entered the track. Ray Zerkut, who is back on track. He's currently in 11th, so he's jumped up in front of Frank. There's Logan. Brian Puzzakemi and Matt Burgess are re-entering onto the track. Currently position 2 and 3 is Puzzakemi and Burgess respectively. .41.326 and a 41.329. So these two separated by 3 thousandths of a second. Matt Horton goes for a spin off the back straight. Thomas. Pretty sure that one was an aero loose situation. Because Marquez was right up on his ass. I was having coming back on track, but just going to be for maybe a lap or two of playing around. This time is ticking away. We're in the final minute of practice now. So we're going to go for a quick commercial break. When we come back, we're going to see the results of how these guys qualified. And then we'll get stuck into this Roy's Towing 150 from the Auto Club Speedway. So make sure you guys stay tuned. Welcome back, everyone, to the Roy's Towing 150 right here from the Auto Club Speedway. Qualifying is complete and the grid has been set. Starting off the pole is going to be the 33 car of Mr. Matt Horton. Starting out of P2 is going to be the 61 of TJ Crampton. P3 is going to be the 60 of Kyle Kraus. With P4, the 88 of Jonathan Hernandez. P5 will be the 13 of Travis Maciel. With P6, the 23 of John Lozelle. P7 will be the 12 of Matt Burgess. With P8, the 16 of Ray Zerkut. P9 will be the 76 of Mark Axelson. Great to see Mark back in action. And P10, the 64 of Jonas Marquez. And the rest of the field, going to have Caleb Finn out of 11th, Chris Champo out of 12th, Thomas Harmon out of 13th, with Logan Lansford 14th, Mark Pentaker 15th, James Watson P16, and Frank Isaacson P17, and the last of our Hard Charger Award winner participants. Brian Pizzakemi will be at 18th, with Sam Niederhelm 19th, Corey Williamson in 20th, and Doug Luckrow in 21st position. 22 people in the server altogether, 21 drivers, plus myself, 25, 68 strength of field for 75 laps here of the Auto Club Speedway. Alright, the field starts to move off now. There's 75 laps. And grip is very limited on cold tires. Now, as always, the first start is on green. All the restarts after that will be on the leader. Alright, here we go. Pace car is in. And we're off and racing. For the Roy's Towing 150 here from the Auto Club Speedway in the Output Racing League, Season 1 2022. Looks like already Matt Horton going for a lead. Side by side behind him. Oh, the 61. TJ Crampton already gotten sideways. He's managed to save it. No caution. But that was very close for a lot of people. Matt Horton continuing to lead the way now from Kyle Kraus, Jonathan Hernandez, and John Lozelle. He's even starting to build up a little bit of a gap, although he got loose himself coming out of turn 4. Going to allow everyone else to close up on him a little bit. In fact, now Kyle Kraus taking over the lead. See most people going single file out behind. You see just behind our leader here. Side by side goes the 33 of Matt Horton and the 13 of Travis Maciel. Doesn't look like either one of them actually has the advantage here. Kind of like stalled out beside each other. Kyle Kraus still leading the way. He's only got a 0.1 of a second gap over John Lazelle in P2. Just behind him, Travis Massia, who took the advantage between himself and Horton. Now here comes a challenge for the lead. John Lazelle wants it. Kyle Kraus has it. Kraus all the way at the wall on the straightaway here, trying to gain the momentum for going into turn one. John Lazelle was shortcutting it as much as he possibly could. Here we go now, all the battles starting at the front of the pack. John Lazelle has taken the lead away, and here comes the 13 of Massia. Here comes the 12 as well of Matt Burgess, trying to make a real race out of all this. The 61 of TJ Crampton still in the race. He's just channeling off the back of the pack here a little bit. He's hoping for a caution here soon so he can get that thing repaired. Kyle Kraus now battling back to try and take the lead back away from Lazelle. Everyone's gone 2 by 2 behind. Kyle Kraus gets it. Matt Horton's worked his way back up to third after falling back from getting loose from the lead. And he's going to try and take away that second position. In fact, he's going to try and go all the way to the lead here in 3 and 4. Here comes the charge from Matt Horton. It didn't work out for him before. But it's going to work out for him this time. He's trying to bring Jonathan Hernandez with him in the 88. A little bit unsure was Hernandez there coming out of 4. Wasn't sure whether the 60 Kyle Kraus was going to leave him open a space. Now here comes John Lazelle battling back underneath. We also got the 2 of Chris Champeau in this little battle. Oh, and Lazelle unable to take the advantage. Slips back in the line. And here comes the 2 of Chris Champeau. And there's a 38 of Thomas Harmon there as well. The battles are definitely aplenty right now. As we've got 9 laps in the books. Like 66 laps to go. Oh, I can hear someone getting sideways. We've got a caution on the track. And I think that one might have been the 24, Frank Isaacson. Go back and see if we can see what happened to Frank here. We have an autism awareness civil war. Frank went really outside and started to sweep back down. And, yep, he caused a contact there between himself and Jonas Marquez. Marquez was able to save it, but around goes Frank. And that is our first caution of the day. And we are going to go to a quick commercial break. When we come back, we're going to see if anyone decides to take a pit stop. Make sure you guys stay tuned. We are back here at the Auto Club Speedway for the Roy's Towing 150, and Kyle Kraus has come out with the lead. We're watching Matt Horton as he was in the pit lane, and he took 4 tires, where Kraus, Harmon, Masia, Hernandez, and Axelson all only took 2. So a little bit of strategy playing out already, and it's worked out to Kyle Kraus's advantage. All right, so we're on 1 to green. It's going to be Kraus, Hernandez, and Masia, Harmon, Axelson, Horton, Burgess, Champo, Lizelle, and Williamson as your top 10. Remember, the first start was the only one who starts on green. All the restarts after that will be on the leader. All right, here we go. Everyone's getting lined up. And that was a great caution for the 61 of TJ Crampton, who needed to go and get some repairs done. The pace car is in, and it's time for us to crank it up.
Go, go, go. Green flag.
All right, here we go, back to racing action. See a battle on for the lead. Benny 88 Jonathan Hernandez and the 33 of Matt Horton. Chris Champeau trying to buy his way into this battle a little bit, but Matt Horton just taking too much of an advantage on that outside line. It's good to see Matt Horton made his way back up into the lead though, beating all the two tire getters very quickly. So 4 tires definitely far more superior than 2. Looks like this battle's starting to simmer down a little bit, although the 12, Matt Burgess, looking to try and keep it active. He moves his way up into 3rd. Chris Champeau's moved his way up into 2nd. See the 12 of Matt Burgess now trying to take over second from Chris Champeau. Chris Champeau looks like he got a little bit loose there coming off of turn 2 on that high line. Down to the 2x2 formation we go as John Lozelle looking to take over fourth from Hernandez. Matt Burgess still trying to take over that second spot. Looks like no matter what Burgess and Lozelle do here, they just can't get around that 2 car of Chris Champeau. But they're definitely going to have to try and fight a little bit harder here to get through. Looks like Chris Champeau trying to mount a move on Matt Horton. No one went with him, so no one could really get around him. Matt Burgess didn't go give him a hand because Burgess wants to lead for himself. Yeah, the top 5 right now are really just in a stalemate, but on the back of that top 5, in fact, making this a top 6. 78 of Brian Pizzacami, up 12 positions from where he started. So he started all the way back in 18th, did not qualify, up into P6, which is wicked. Now here comes the 2 of Chris Champeau. He's trying to make another move here to the inside. This time going through 1 and 2. Horton absolutely rim riding against the wall. Trying to gain all the momentum he can. And for a brief moment, the 12 of Matt Burgess was going with Chris. Then pulled out of it, thought better of it. It just seems that Matt Horton has got that supreme defense going on right now. He's not letting anyone else through. Here comes the 23, John Lozelle now trying to make some moves of his own. And soon we'll be getting up towards the halfway point of this race. Top 6 definitely stalemated right now. Gonna go and check out what's going on through the pack here a little bit. There's the 81 of Corey Williamson. He's behind Logan Lansford in 7th. Go find Thomas Harmon. There's Thomas. He's getting a push from Kyle Kraus. These guys both took 2 tyres on that stop, and they're the highest placed 2 tyre getters. got Caleb Finn just in behind them as well. Jonas Marquez sitting in 12th all by himself. But he does have Travis Massey just a little bit behind him. This looks like a little bit of an interesting situation just behind these guys. Travis Massey, Mark Pentecup, Frank Isaacson, Sam Niederholm. And I think that's about it that's in here. Yeah, it is. These guys battling it out pretty hard here for what is the 13th position. It looks like we've had a DNF as well. Ray Zercut has a DNF in the race. Doug Luckrow didn't start. We're going to go back up towards the front and see how our leaders are getting on. And they're actually starting to separate off into two packs here. So Pizzacami got around Hernandez for 5th. And John Lozelle in 4th. Kind of losing touch with our 3 leaders here a little bit. Now here comes the 12 of Matt Burgess trying to make a move on Chris Champeau. See if he's able to get that done. Not sure if he will be able to or not. It all depends on how this corner goes, and whether he can get enough draft from Horton to squeeze up in there. And he did manage to do it. Chris Champeau mounting a fight back. And they're actually starting to lose touch with the lead of Matt Horton here a little bit. And this is exactly what Horton wants to see in his mirror. People side by side racing behind him. So we'll be able to keep an eye on the situation to see how this one's going to unfold. But these two battling has actually brought the other 3 back into it a little bit here. As I saw Brian Pizzacami was trying to make a move for 4th. Pizzacami could not get that move to stick. Chris Champeau has fallen into the clutches of the bottom half of this top 6. And Pizzacami really looking strong right now. Up on the inside, trying to make moves. Now, I'm not sure if these guys are actually going to be able to make it to the end on fuel. Looks like they will have to make at least one more stop. So we might see them starting to think about pitting here shortly. But we'll just wait and see. Pizzacami still trying to work that inside line. Don Lozelle working the outside. Burgess and Horton are gone. So the 2 Mats. Oh, a little bit sideways there for Pizzacami as he was squeezing back up in the line. Even though there's much room in there as he thought there was. Lozelle ran wide through 3 and 4 to get the extra momentum. Going to try to use it to make a move on the inside of Chris Champeau. to his credit, he made that move stick. Kevin now trying his shot. The problem for Pizzacchemi here is Lizelle running that high line. It's not giving Pizzacchemi any draft. As we're going to go 3 wide because Chris Champeau wants to take the spot back off of John Lizelle. That's not going to work out. Pizzacchemi has moved ahead of Champeau, but that'll probably last as far as the draft will get him. What Pizzacchemi really needs is Jonathan Hernandez to park it right on the tailgate as they go along the back straight. That'll push them both past if they're good enough. But Pizzacchemi now slips up into line into 4th place. Here comes Hernandez trying to make moves. Into 3 and 4 we go with 36 laps, nearly 37 laps into the books. Apparently I can't count. Means we should be just about getting to the halfway point in this race. In fact, I think halfway through this lap is officially halfway in a race. So when they reach the middle of the back straight. Chris Champeau's peaking. The reason why I think that these guys are going to have to make another stop is because that caution came out so early in the race that they would just about have to pit. As I said, we'll have to keep an eye on this situation. See how things pan out for these guys. But the two Matts just cruising out front, Matt Horton and Matt Burgess. They're both just looking for good point stays here. And yeah, being first and second is definitely very good for points. I just gotta hope that if they do have to pit under green, that they don't get a penalty. And how the turntables have turned. The 38 Thomas Harmon back up into P6 now after his 2 tire stop earlier. And I think we've got some people coming into pit. We do indeed. The 13 of Travis Matthew in. The 39 of James Watson's in. The 2 of Chris Champeau actually has pitted already. He's rejoined on the back of these guys. And by these guys, I mean the back of the top 6. So we're definitely going to see some pit stops starting to happen. I think Chris Champeau actually starting to carve his way through these guys now that he's on his fresher tyres. So these guys will probably want to start thinking about pitting soon. Thomas Harmon's just come into the pits. The 24 of Frank Isaacson's just making his way out of the pits. And it looks like the race is back on between these two now. Here comes the 2 of Chris Champeau sweeping around our 2 leaders. He said those fresh tyres definitely working wonders for him. And he'll probably be in a net P1 here, considering how early before the rest of these guys he's pitted. So yeah, it's just the eternal wait for Matt Horton and Matt Burgess to come into the pits now. Pizzacami and Hernandez still haven't pitted yet either. But they can't be too far away from pitting. Kyle Kraus, who is behind these guys, has already pitted. So our top 4 remain. Let's see, we still got Logan Lansford who hasn't pitted, Caleb Finn, Jonas Marquez, Sam Niederhelm, Mark Pentecoff, Mark Axelson, and Chris Champeau, the first who pitted in P11. And that's another thing too. Right now, Chris Champeau not a lap down. He's raced his way back onto the lead lap. Jonathan Hernandez has come into the pits this time. When are the 2 Matts going to pit? When's Pizzacami going to pit? Because he's right up here in the front as well. As our 2 leaders get around Hernandez, who's just getting back up to speed. Almost seems like they're thinking about trying to pit as late as possible. They're going to have a short stop with only taking 2 tyres. That's what I'm thinking the plan is right now. See Kyle Kraus and Jonathan Hernandez with their fresh tyres absolutely trouncing these guys at the front of the pack. And Matt Burgess has just come into the pits. Zone 2 for Brian Puzakemi. Still a few other people still waiting to pit. Logan Lansford, Caleb Quinn, Jonas Marquez. Mark Axelson is still yet to pit as well. And here comes Horton into the pits this time. Let's go check on Logan Lansford, see what he does. Got Finn and Marquez there right with him. And all three of them staying out. Logan didn't actually officially lead that lap. That lap still went the way of the 33 of Matt Horton. Logan actually with a lot of rear end damage here. So at some point he's received one up the clacker. And these guys are pitting this time. But Jonas Marquez does not. Jonas Marquez has stayed out and he's going to lead this lap. But what we're going to do right now is we're going to go to commercial break. When we come back, hopefully everyone else had finished pitting by then. And we're going to see how things shape up from here. So make sure you guys stay tuned. Welcome back to the Roy's Towing 150 here from the Auto Club Speedway. And Chris Champeau is officially back into the lead. And he has a handy little 2-second margin over Jonathan Hernandez right now. Thomas Harmon sitting in third. Matt Burgess is in fourth. Doing the long pit strategy definitely has not worked out for the two Matts. Matt Horton dropped all the way down to P6. But they do have the fresher tyres right now. And that's the one thing that Chris Champeau here really has to watch about. So he's only got a 1.6 second lead over Jonathan Hernandez. There's one car that separates them, which is James Watson. But he is on one of the oldest sets of tyres here in the field after pitting on lap 41. Jonathan Hernandez's tyres 6 laps fresher after pitting on lap 47. And Matt Burgess, Brian Puzakemi, and Matt Horton all pitting on laps, well, Burgess and Matt Horton pitting on lap 51, Puzakemi pitting on lap 50. So definitely a lot of differing tyre strategies going on right now. of a sudden, it got quiet. That was probably me. Now Chris Champo only has 1 second and no lap car buffer between himself and Jonathan Hernandez. And then a further 3.5 seconds back with only 1 lap car and then Jonathan Hernandez is Matt Burgess. So Burgess is absolutely flying right now. He got around Thomas Harmon. Matt Horton similarly back up to P5 now after getting around Brian Pizzakemi. So this could be a masterstroke genius from them. But with 19 laps to go, it's still a gamble. As Matt Horton now makes his way up into 4th. Getting around Thomas Harmon. Pizzakemi's there as well. He's looking for 5th. There's nothing that separates Burgess from Hernandez. And only Hernandez that separates Champo from Burgess. Looks like Burgess and Horton are going at it here for 3rd. We're keeping an eye on this little stoush though. Because here comes Hernandez to try and take the lead away. At the line, Hernandez is leading it. And Hernandez makes that pass look easy as can be. Well, Pizzakemi looking like he was trying to make a move on Matt Burgess there. Thought better of it, as Horton has moved his way up into 3rd. Champo soon to fall into the clutches of the 2 Mats. There is the 2 Mats and Brian Pizzakemi. Let's have a look from out the back of the Jonathan Hernandez car. Horton rim riding still around the top of the Speedway. Getting all the momentum he can. And Burgess says if you are right, then that's completely fair. Going down the back straight. Not just the power of the drum. What probably won't be very long at all before Horton and Burgess starting to get their way around Champo and get on his tail as we speak. There goes Horton back up on the rim. He's getting all the momentum. It's now to the inside he goes. And that is now Matt Horton back up into P2. Burgess matches the move as well. Get onto the apron a little bit, trying to make this move stick. And now that is Burgess into P3. Pizzakemi similarly trying to get into 4th. That is those 3 now up in the 2nd, 3rd and 4th. And now they're going to start charging towards Jonathan Hernandez and the lead of this race. As all starts to become quiet on the western front. And they'll resume battle positions here very shortly. Horton Sticking to the rim riding technique that's worked so well for him so far. To the inside he goes. He's got Matt Burgess in behind him. Burgess now ditches him and goes in behind Hernandez. But this is pretty much a formality for Horton to take over the lead again. Burgess trying to find a way around Hernandez. But Hernandez doing what he needs to do, which is sticking right in behind Horton here, not opening up the gap enough for Burgess to get through. And now Hernandez trying to make the move back, trying to take the lead back away. He's got the help from Burgess and Pizzacchemi. And Pizzacchemi and Burgess ditched him. Hernandez is on the inside all by himself, and these guys are just going to draft around the outside of him. There's Matt Horton from Matt Burgess and then Brian Pizzacchemi. Jonathan Hernandez slipping back to fourth. And they're starting to catch lap traffic here as we're coming to 10 to go this time. John Lazelle just up ahead. Only half a second ahead he is. But with it only being 10 laps left, only 4 minutes of racing, these guys are probably get this over pretty quickly, honestly. But I'm expecting a little bit of a fight here from Pizzacchemi on at least Matt Burgess. Nine laps to go. And who is going to take it out? Is it going to be one of the Matts or is it going to be Pizzacchemi? It seems like it's definitely going to be a formality between one of these three. All three of them playing the strategy game to perfection. And I was starting to call their integrity into question. Here goes Horton now around the lap car of John Lazelle. Lazelle staying high to allow everyone through easily. Now there's one lap car between the two Matts. And it looks like Lazelle actually trying to help Horton here by getting right up on his ass and pushing him along the front stretch. There's literally half a second that separates our top three right now. There's 1.2 seconds between first and fourth. But who is going to take out the Rose Towing 150 here from the Auto Club Speedway is going to be the question that we're answering. As we just completed lap 69. Nice. Only 6 laps to go in this race. And right now, between the three of them, this is all just a big chess match. Let's go quickly go through and have a look at the stats on some of these drivers. Burgess has 112 starts with 1 win, 32 top fives, and he's rated 97. Got Matt Horton has 71 starts, no wins, 11 top fives, rated 88. And Brian Pizzicemi has 114 starts, no wins, 34 top fives, and is rated 91. So any one of these guys would be very happy to get a win. None more so than Horton or Pizzicemi, who haven't got a win to their name yet. As we only now have 3 laps to go. It's time for these guys to start getting serious. It's time to settle the men from the boys. And here comes Burgess trying to go for a move on the inside of Horton. Didn't quite work out for him, not enough room there. I thought the side draft would have kept him in that a little bit, but apparently not. Two laps remaining now. And these guys are all separated by just 0.2 of a second. The Frank Isaacson getting right out of the way of our 3 leaders as he goes a lap down. As we come out of turn 4 for the penultimate time, it's a white flag, last lap, last chance to win it or wear it for Matt Horton. Pizzicemi trying to use that outside line to gain a run on Matt Burgess. But right now it's all the Matt Horton show. As here comes Pizzicemi now trying to make a move for second. Pizzicemi hasn't got that move made yet. Coming out of turn 4. Your winner here for the Roy's Towing 150 at the Auto Club Speedway is going to be the 33 of Matt Horton. P2 goes the way of Brian Pizzicemi. P3, Matt Burgess. Jonathan Hernandez is going to come home 4th with Chris Champeau in 5th. We're going to wait to see Matt Horton coming back around to the start-finish line so he can do some celebratory donuts. As I said, I'm pretty sure this is Matt's first win of the season. I'm going to go recheck his stats. I'm sure it's his first win of his career here in the Output Racing League. And yeah, 71 starts, no wins. So now he's got 72 starts against his name with that 1 victory, and that's going to improve his rating here a little bit. As he makes his way back to the start-finish line to get some donuts out of the way. There we go. He's a very happy man right now. So we're going to go to a quick commercial break now. When we come back, we're going to have driver interviews. So make sure you guys stay tuned. Alrighty, guys, it's time for our Autism Awareness Hard Charger Award winner. And today's Hard Charger is none other than the one, the only, the two car of Mr. Chris Champo. Chris, you started all the way down in P12, finished in P5. You gained 7 positions in this race. How do you feel?
Happy that I didn't lose all of them at the end.
It was definitely a very bold strategy there, pitting as early as you did when we had the green flag stops. What was the strategy for you going into that stop?
Well, early in the race, we took tires that very first caution, and then we were right behind Matt for most of that run. But being right behind him, I burnt the tires off the truck. And so I thought, well, if I stay here, I'm just going to keep falling. So I figured 35 laps in or 30 laps in, 40 to go would be a good spot to pit and have clean air, and maybe I wouldn't burn the fronts off. And honestly, it probably would have worked out better if I didn't save so hard. If I would have gone harder on the beginning of that second run, I probably could have made it a little bit more interesting. But the other guys caught me too fast, basically.
Well, it was definitely a fairly risky strategy there, as I said. Pitting that early, you could, run the risk of everyone else having the better tires later in the run and it just really stuffing you up. So I think we've got a couple of connection issues going on with the stream itself, which is a little bit concerning, but, this is still being recorded. It's live TV. Accidents happen.
There you
and
go.
so do technical difficulties. And there we go. I think we're back now. So, Chris, let's talk about the race as a whole. We did have a very early caution there within the first 10 laps. How did that change your strategy approaching this race?
Um, it made me pretty uncomfortable, to be honest with you, because Auto Club is a track where I feel like more than once it's gone green most of the way, or we've had an early caution that went green, and then with like 5 to go, we get a caution. And by that point, if I take tires that first pit or that first caution, by that time I'll be out of tires. So uh, I basically just rolled the dice and said, I'm going to take tires here and hope that we don't get any more cautions. Because if we would have got another one after I pit for the green flag pit stop, we would have been screwed.
Well, I'm glad that the strategy all worked out for you there, Chris. But let's look forward towards next week. Next week we're going to Las Vegas, a very similarly shaped track, just a little bit shorter in overall length, and we're going at it for 100 laps. What's the feeling like for you heading to the Las Vegas Motor Speedway?
Just got to figure out how to be smooth and not burn the tires off as much. If that's trying to be leading and not have to worry about dirty air, then maybe we'll try that. Or maybe it's just holding back and then kind of wait until the end of the run to really push it. I don't know. We'll probably get some practice and we'll see how the session practice session before goes and then make a decision. But I like Vegas. It's a fun track. I don't like Auto Club. So the fact that I did pretty good here makes me feel like we're going into next week to a track I like on the right note.
All right, well, I'm glad to hear that, Chris. But before we let you go here tonight, anyone you want to give a quick shout out to?
Oh boy. We'll give a shout to Jaron since he decided to skip the race. Shout out to Jaron and then all the guys that come and run Night Owl on Thursday night. It's a lot of fun. Any of the guys that are in the Output League can come and run it. Road racing, GT3s. It's a lot of fun. Even if, you're not the best road racer, it's still a lot of fun.
All right, well, thank you very much for coming out, Chris. Congratulations on taking home tonight's Hard Charger Award. And we look forward to seeing what you can do next week when we go to Las Vegas.
Yeah, buddy. We'll see you there.
All right, guys. So that was our Hard Charger Award winner here today, presented by Autism Awareness, the 2 of Mr. Chris Champo. Coming up next, we're going to get our third place getter. And I thought for all the money in the world that he was either going to finish in second or he was going to challenge for the lead. It didn't work out that way, though, but I'm sure he's still got a big smile on his face. It's the old boy himself, the 12 of Mr. Matt Burgess. Matt, great race for you out there tonight. You were there or thereabouts for the majority of the race after that first caution. What was it like for you, just having fun at the front of the pack?
Oh, I mean, I had a blast up in front there racing with Matt, and then eventually Brian. It was, before that we got that caution, and we tend to go green at Auto Club, so I was like, well, I'm taking the 4 tires, and people were taking. I think Jonathan took 2, and then a fair amount of people took no tires, and I just felt that taking 4 and the odds of us getting another caution were slim. So, um, that after that caution, it was just basically run down the guys that didn't have the tires or only took 2, and then I was just kind of hanging out behind Matt, and then kind of waiting for the green flag pit stops. And then on the pit stop, when I was in front of him, I thought, "Wow, this is good." But I kind of, for some reason, I was thinking we had 20 laps to go, and I think it was like 25 or 27, somewhere in there. So I went a little hard, and I burnt off the right front a little bit more than I had planned to. And Matt was just, I mean, he was fast. I mean, his tires were quite a bit better than mine at the end there. But um, so Brian was basically keeping me, the draft and Brian were keeping me up with him to try to challenge him. So I didn't have anything for him. And then Brian made a good move and got the top and 1 and 2 to stick and had that run down the backstretch. And I couldn't carry the momentum through 3 and 4 to try to be there right at the line. But it was close, but it was a ton of fun.
Well, I'm glad to hear that you had fun because you're usually one of those who get lumped into the not so lucky category of having a streak of bad luck. But it was a great race out there, all in all, don't you think?
Oh yeah, everyone did a fantastic job. I mean, TJ got loose in the beginning there, but it only affected him, and then there's probably some quick, close calls with some moves and bumps and stuff, but there's no wrecks, major wrecks or anything like that. I mean, I think somebody spun on the pit road, but um, generally, like I said, Auto Club, we usually even in I think all the vehicles, all the NASCAR cars that we've run here, it's pretty clean and a lot of good racing. As far as bad luck, I already had the bad luck earlier today at another league. I was pushing Thomas to the lead, and the spotter said clear. We were out coming up to the white flag, and I ducked down, but apparently I wasn't clear, and I caught the guy's nose and went off of him, but still got to, Thomas still got the win, so that worked out good. So luckily the bad luck didn't follow me to here. It was a good race.
Right, now let's look forward towards next week, Matt. We're going to be going to the Las Vegas Motor Speedway. What's the feeling like for you heading to the mile-and-a-half track at Las Vegas?
Hey, it's I don't know. It's in the trucks. Usually Vegas and Atlanta, which are similar. I either have good finishes or just real bad luck at them. So it's like a 50-50 shot how it was going to end up. So hopefully it's a good luck side.
Well, hopefully so, man. But before we let you go here tonight, anyone you want to give a quick shout out to?
Admins of the league that help out quite a bit. There's Jaron and then Travis and Kyle do a lot of work, and Kyle's put up an awesome website for us. If you haven't gone out and checked it out, I urge you to go out and check it. It's a really slick website, and I mean, I'm proud of it, and I think he did a fantastic job on it. And then give a shout out to you, of course, for the broadcast.
All right, well, thank you very much for coming out, Matt. Congratulations on P3, and we look forward to seeing what you can do next week at Las Vegas.
All right, see you then.
All right, guys, so that was our third place getter here today. One of the stalwarts who has been here since pretty much day dot, Mr. Matt Burgess. Coming up next, though, we got our second place getter, and he didn't have second place until the absolute death of the race. Of course, it's our guy who always loves to come through the field, the 78 of Mr. Brian Pizzacami. Brian, before the race even started, I said, you watch for the end of the race. Mr. Pizzacami will be up there or thereabouts, and indeed you were.
Yeah, it was a wild ride to get there though.
Yeah, well, we had that early caution, which definitely put a little bit of a blot into most people's strategies. What was the thought process like for you trying to figure out when to take your green flag stop?
The thought process was just to try and push it out as far as I could until either Matt went in, because I knew if I stuck to one of them, I would be in good shape. But as Jonathan had pit before me, and same with Thomas, I saw them coming around. It's like, uh-oh, I might be in trouble. So it's just a matter of trying to save and then push when you needed to after the green flag stop.
Well, you definitely played the strategy card there properly and managed to get yourself back up into P2. What was it like trying to fight through the guys who took tires earlier, and then that last-ditch battle between yourself and Matt Burgess?
Trying to get through people was, I mean, the truck was so tight and dirty air. It was just a matter of trying to set them up on exit, just so you could kind of dive in and take it off in the corner. But I was having an issue just trying to get the front end to stick. I was always pushing out and kind of just losing time. And then towards the end with Matt, I was trying to push him and see if he and Horton would fight. And once we lost Horton by 3/10, I knew, okay, it's last lap, screw it, let's try something. And I went to the high side of the lap before and it didn't work. So it's like, well, worst case I get third, best case I'm fighting Matt for second. And it just happened to work coming out of 2. I got the run and sent it into 3, and I am still surprised to this second that it stuck, because I thought for sure I was gonna see the outside wall as I was starting to push up into Matt.
Yeah, it definitely looked like it was getting close there in the battle to the line coming out of turn 4. But how exhilarating was just that one little battle that you had compared to getting around the rest of the traffic?
Oh, I mean that made the whole race. I mean, I love racing around Matt. He's always a clean racer, and it's always a struggle trying to get around him. I think he's much faster than I am, so to be anywhere near him at the end of a race it was a lot of fun. To beat him is it it felt good, but I know if he had saved his tire just a little more, I would have had nothing.
All right, now let's fast forward to look at next week. We're going to be going to the Las Vegas Motor Speedway. What's the feeling like for you heading out to the desert and doing some racing?
I'm actually excited. You know, Daytona was coming to the line was kind of messy, and this week to come back and finish second, I think we're on the right track, and I'm hopefully going to be able to be there at the end again. Maybe this time pushing for the win.
Well, we can certainly hope so, Brian. But before we let you go here tonight, anyone you want to give a quick shout out to?
Yeah, I want to give a shout out to all the guys who put on a phenomenal race. I know we had a bit of a hiccup at the start with a lot of people getting sideways, but everyone kept their nose clean and we were able to keep it going. Shout out to you for one hell of a broadcast as usual, and shout out to Matt for not taking me out when I'm pretty sure we should have died.
All right, well, thank you very much, Brian, for coming out. Congratulations on getting P2, so close to getting that elusive first win. Hopefully next week when we go to Las Vegas, mate.
Yeah, one of these days.
All right, guys, so that was our second place getter, the 78 of Mr. Brian Pizzakemi. And as I said, Pizzakemi is one who likes to not qualify, work his way through the field, and, he still gets really good results, which is always very encouraging to see. But coming up next, 72 starts, win number one. Of course, we're talking to the 33 car of Mr. Matt Horton. Matt, finally getting that monkey off your back with your first career victory here in the Output Racing League.
Yeah, it took me a lot longer than I wanted to, but to finally do it, it's pretty cool. I kept thinking there was going to be a caution there at the end that was going to set up a green white checkered, and I had no tires left, and that would have screwed me. But thankfully, it didn't. And yeah, we got our first win.
It definitely looked like a bit of a challenging race, especially after the pit stops between yourself and Matt Burgess. What was that little dynamic like between you two for the whole entire race?
It was good. We were both very similar on speed, um, and I just knew if I could keep him behind me on corner entry, that I can make his life difficult because of dirty air. So that was really all I was trying to do there, and it worked out for me.
And it definitely looked like it was a little bit of a chess match between the two of you. Especially when it came to those last few laps. He was trying his damnedest to try and get around you, but just didn't quite have the right front under him to get the job completed.
Yeah, he was getting shoves from Brian down the straightaway, so they were able to get close to me on corner entry, but they just couldn't make anything happen. And thankfully they didn't. And then they started racing there side by side on the last lap, and that was pretty much when I knew I had it in the bag.
I also noticed throughout the race, especially when it came to just negotiating lap traffic or trying to set up a pass for yourself, you were really liking that rim riding line through turns 1 and 2. What's it like, running that close to disaster?
It's a little sketchy because one little mistake, one little push, and your race is over because you're in the wall. But if you get right up close to that wall, you can get a huge run down the straightaway. And I used it a couple of times to make passes, so that was why I was doing that.
All right, now let's look forward towards next week, Matt. We're going to be going to the sandy shores of the Las Vegas Motor Speedway. What's the feeling like for you heading out to the middle of the desert and putting a gamble on a race win there?
Pretty good, honestly. That's gonna be an insane race. It's gonna be a mini mini Daytona for sure. There's a lot of grip in that racetrack. There's 2 very usable lanes, and with the draft in these trucks, it's gonna be a show, and hopefully we can put one on.
All right, Matt. Before we let you go here tonight, anyone you want to give a quick shout out to?
Yeah. I'll obviously I'll put I've said this before, amazing league, well run, all the people who put it together, yourself for broadcasting, and yeah, that's all it.
All right, Matt. Well, thank you very much for coming out. Congratulations on getting career win number 1 here in the Output Racing League after 72 starts, and hopefully some more wins heading your way, especially as we start heading towards Las Vegas.
Thank you.
All right, guys. That was today's winner, the 33 of Mr. Matt Horton, and as you can hear, he was absolutely overjoyed. But that is going to end off our broadcast here tonight. I'd like to thank each and every single one of you for coming out and watching. And until next week, when we go to Las Vegas, I've been your commentator, the Aussie Sim commentator, and we'll see you guys next week.